All right. I dug in deep on this one, folks. I dug in deep. So let me start by telling you, as soon as this fight got dropped, I went Shane Burgos. No brainer. I immediately wanted to bet this man, and it took everything I had not to lock the bet in until I had done my homework. That's something that I tend to do from time to time, where if I'm excited about a fighter, I will bet them blindly without doing the tape study. And you got to do your tape study when you're betting on fights. You've got to make sure you understand exactly what's going on, and I'm so happy I did here. So let's start with Burgos. Rising prospect, 13-1, super tight boxing, really good fighter, fast, excellent jab. He finds the range early. He cuts angles. He's got excellent head movement. He's got a good teep, a front kick that he uses to keep the range from his opponents. He likes to stay in the pocket and trade. He attacks the lead leg of his opponents. He can drop his hands a little bit when he gets in there, but he's got an incredible gas tank. He just outworks everybody. This fucking guy averages 7.9 significant strikes per minute. Unreal output from Shane Burgos. They call him the Hurricane for a reason. However, he absorbs 5.34 significant strikes per minute. When you've got that kind of output, you leave yourself open for counters, and that's just the way the world works. He's got a solid takedown defense rating, 90% over 7 UFC fights. That's incredible. And he's got a 100% takedown offense rating, which, you know, that number is always skewed. When you shoot for one and hit one, you got 100%. This guy doesn't do takedowns. He's got a 75-inch reach, and that's going to give him an incredible 5-inch reach advantage over Josh Emmett. And that is the big scare here, is that he's going to have that reach and range advantage. However, Josh Emmett on the flip side of this thing, 15-2. 6 of those wins coming by the way of knockout, incredibly fast and athletic, a team alpha male product, big right hand, extremely fast right hand counter, and he rips the body. He's got a good, solid wrestling base, which if he tests Shane here would be interesting to see. I don't know how much he's going to look to do that, but if he does, he trains over at Alpha Male. Those boys can wrestle, and he was a collegiate wrestler, I believe. He's got the opportunity here to really test that high-level defense rating. Absolute hellish ground and pound. If Josh Emmett gets you on the mat, you're in freaking trouble. This guy will beat you through the canvas. Big elbows, and he drops his hands when he's throwing. So he also can get caught when he gets into those exchanges. In his last 5 UFC fights, he has knocked down every single opponent at least once. His last 5, he's scored at least a knockdown. Bear that in mind here. He's got a 70-inch reach. Already said he's at a 5-inch disadvantage here. He averages 3.63 significant strikes per minute, and he absorbs 3.26. So he's taken it about as good as he gets. He slightly outstrikes his opponents, but he's that guy that takes one to give one, and he is willing to roll the dice on his power. Here's where stuff gets interesting. Shane Burgos eats right hands. He eats them like candy, all right? Josh Emmett's best punch is the right hand. He's incredibly fast, and he can close range like a mother. And he uncorks that right hand with a fury, especially when he's countering. That's how he ended Michael Johnson's night in round 3 with one of the most vicious walk-off KOs you'll ever see. He finally caught his window and timed it right. And when this kid lands, you are not surviving it. Shane gets hit with that right hand over and over and over. I watched his tape on his last couple of fights. Kurt Hollabaugh, Calvin Kattar, Cub Swanson, Makwan Americani. The most success they all had was with the right hand. Now, Calvin Kattar, he's the true prospect here, right? This guy's title contention worthy and an absolute monster. Getting knocked out by him is no shame. But eating that same punch over and over and over again, that's the key here. He knocked him out with that right hand. He got dropped by Kurt Hollabaugh in round 1 with that right hand. So even though that fight reads that Shane Burgos won by first round submission, he got his clock cleaned by the punch that he can't stop. And it would have been lights out if he took another one, I feel like. He managed to scramble and get the sub on the mat, but it was not looking good for him early in that fight. He went to war with Cub Swanson. Absolute war with Cub Swanson. 134 significant strikes for Shane Burgos, 129 significant strikes for Cub Swanson. That's the kind of war that takes years off your life. And then when he fought Maclean Amirkhani, he outscored him 105 significant strikes to 22. Maclean had nothing for Burgos on the feet, but it took Burgos until round 3 to knock this kid out. So he's a volume striker. Even though he's got some pop on his punches, he's probably not a round 1 threat type of puncher, and that's the only guy we've been able to see who gave Josh Emmett any kind of pause. When Josh Emmett took that loss, it was to Jeremy Stephens and then Desmond Green, who is a bigger, stronger, more durable wrestler than he was, and he wasn't able to overcome that difference. Shane's not going to out-wrestle him, and Shane doesn't have that Jeremy Stephens one-hitter-quitter type of power that literally broke the bones in Josh Emmett's face. Maclean Amirkhani landed several big right hands on Shane Burgos. When Shane was hunting for the finish, he overextended, and Maclean Amirkhani, a grappler, was able to eat him with some big right hands in that 3rd round. Folks, all this comes down to is I'm betting on the right hand. I have got Josh Emmett locked up at plus 115, and I love it because both of these guys are contender-worthy fighters. Josh Emmett may be sold on his power. Josh Emmett may be the guy who needs to get that knockout to win because he's not a volume striker. He's just not going to beat you that way. But this opponent is going to hold that door wide open for him. If I miss this bet, if I end up whiffing on this one because he doesn't get the knockout, I'm okay with that. I'm making this bet based on the fact that I know he needs that knockout, but it's literally his best punch versus the punch that Shane Burgos has proven he has a weakness against. I'm going hard on Josh Emmett because I think he's going to get a round 2 knockout. I think he's going to take round 1 to feel him out. I think he's going to get the timing down. And when he finally gets that opportunity to counter, we've seen Burgos get dropped and hurt by this exact punch time and time and time again. If you eat that punch flush from a guy like Josh Emmett, you're not getting up. I got Emmett. Let's see how bad I'm doing in the comments this time. Everyone's talking about the main event. Yeah, Bufo saw it. He gets clipped. He gets clipped. Josh Emmett going to send Burgos to God to talk for a few minutes. That's about right, Muay Thai. That's what I'm banking on. Emmett's right hand is one of the best weapons in the business, and you are correct, my there, buddy. Facts. Burgos is a lock. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, Beach Boss. Let's go, buddy. Head to head. This one's going to be fun. Saying it's easy money. We'll see, buddy. We will see. I'm excited about this one. And you know what? On this one, I don't think you're going to get much value taking the prop either. So I'm playing him straight just by the off chance that he, gets a couple of 10-8 rounds in there and somehow Burgos survives it or something like that. But getting that prop bet by knockout, the books know him and needs a knockout. You're not going to get much more value there. Yeah. That I just, sorry, just hit on that one. Ooh, Burgos by TKO round 3 or 30-27. Yeah, and that's, a lot of people are banking on him being able to keep the range and outdance his opponents. But, hey, if you're getting hit with 5 significant strikes a minute, Josh Emmett's piston of a right hand is going to be mixed in there a couple of those times. I'm taking it. I am taking it, my friend. Don't like going head-to-head with you, Gabe, but got to at this point. 3 units on Emmett's right hand. Let's go, buddy. Let's eat. I love it. And we got locked in at plus 125 Sunday morning. I love it. Let's go.